Yep. Good evening. I'm calling the May 10th RTM regular meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll? Oh, and it is 7:04.
Representative Adams. Here. Amboise. Here. Bailey. Here. Burrell. Here. Brennan.
He's not going to be here.
Bright. Here. Casper. Surf. Chase. Here. Kopp. Here. Crockett Hubbard. Dean Chimbrough. Here. Eben. Here. Frickman. Fritchie. Gardner.
Here.
Gothier. Gibbs. Gustafson. Hainline. Hanscom. Ivy. Caden. Massett. McElroy. Merritt. Norman. Aubrey.
She wasn't going to make it.
Thank you. Perry. Kristen Powers.
Here.
Sean Powers.
Here.
Pacino. Scott. Here. Sombrero.
Here.
Thomas.
He's online.
VZ Williams.
Thomas is here. Thomas is here.
Got it.
Easy Williams is here.
Watson.
Here.
Weaver. Wells.
Here.
Whitney.
Here.
And Rusk.
Here.
28. Okay, 29. Casper.
Okay. If we could all please stand for a moment of silence and the salute to the flag. Representative Burrell, would you mind leading us in the salute to the flag, please? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is approval of minutes from April 12th. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing no corrections, they are approved as they are. Public petitions. This is the portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments from the public. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or as directed, and if possible, submitted written comments. Presentations should be limited to matters pertinent to the town of Groton. The moderator or members through the moderator shall ask questions only in order to clarify the speaker's presentations. Responses may be given by the moderator and or by the town manager. Individuals should state their names and address for the record. First person I have is Tom Olson, please.
Tom Olson, 188 Crosswinds Drive, Noank. I'm here as a representative of both the Town Conservation Commission.
Can I ask you to move the microphone much closer to you so everyone
Okay.
online can hear you? Thank you.
Tom Olson, 188 Crosswinds Drive, Noank. For disclosure, I'm a member of the Town of Groton Conservation Commission. In that role last year, the Town of Groton Conservation Commission worked with the Tri-Town Trail and got 2 state designations for greenways established. And this is related to item I-4 on your agenda tonight for the grant for the alternate transportations. And that in that grant will support development of the greenway that has been designated by the state. I was the author for the application that was submitted, went through the town council, got approval, and then was approved by the Greenway Commission at the state level last year. And so I want to make sure that, that it was not brought up during the town council discussions with the grant, but that this is a part of the state greenway that's designated for it's called the Groton Crosstown Greenway. It's been approved by the state, and it's just having additional information here in regard to the improvements that are being made. And this is and also in conjunction. A lot of people aren't aware that the greenway was approved last year because the signage hasn't been really out there yet. That's part of the ARPA grant we're working with Parks and Rec Department to get that in place, and we're still waiting to have that joint effort between the Conservation Commission, the Tri-Town Trail, and the Parks and Rec. So just want to let you know about that and put that in consideration as you do your discussions relative to the grant. And look forward to approving that. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Burke?
My name is Jim Burke. I'm at 234 Ocean View Avenue. I urge you to approve the budget for the 2023-162 Transportation Alternative Plan Grant. I was a bike commuter to EB from Mystic, and I did that for about 15 years. And I'm familiar with cycling along the route. Now, if you're coming east-west in Groton, or Mystic heading to Groton, or anywhere in between, there's really 2 routes, and it's 184 or Route 1. But ultimately, those routes, they funnel down, and you end up on South Road quite often. So that's where people cycle. There's not options. And the roads along the bikeway, there's some safety issues that should be addressed, and those issues result in drivers and cyclists making poor decisions at times. So improved signage, markings, those will help both cyclists and drivers be more aware of each other. So as far as the impact of vehicles, really, if there's a bike, they're going to probably have to slow down, but otherwise, there's not a lot of impact. My hope is that your acceptance of this Transportation Alternative Plan Grant will improve bike safety and encourage bicycle commuting in the area. Bicycle commuting has its inherent dangers, but it can be a very rewarding experience for a lot of people. Thank you all for your time on behalf of the community.
Thank you. Brian Schaefer?
I'm Brian Sheffer, 98 3 Acre Road, Groton. I support the Transportation Alternative Plan. I cycled here tonight on many of the roads that they're talking about improving along that route. I think it's living in the city of Groton, it helps me come over here to many of the things we have here, the library, the high school, this building, the sports fields, Dairy Queen, all that stuff. So I think it'll be a good improvement for me if we could have that improvement to the road and make it much safer to cycle.
Thank you. Brian Kent?
Good evening. My name is Brian Kent. I reside at 101 Prospect Hill Road in Groton. I am president of Bike Groton, which is the local advocacy organization that that speaks out for cyclists and for people who walk on our roadways and trails in the town of Groton. I'm not going to talk about the benefits of cycling to the economy or to the health and wellness of the community, or even about the safety of this particular corridor and how it would be improved by this project. What I'm going to talk about is cyclists are often judged by those that don't ride bicycles as somehow being dehumanized or second-class citizens and don't belong on the road. But in reality, they have all the rights that you who drive cars have. Bicycles are vehicles. And the people who will use this facility are residents who live in Groton, who have families, whose children have gone to schools here, to the elementary schools, the middle schools, the Fish High School. We are business owners, we are taxpayers, and we are voters. I'm a small business owner. I employ people that live in Groton, and I ride a bike. And I will ride into the city of Groton down this roadway and back, and so will my friends and family. And that's, I think, really important to understand that we are not other people. We are the same as you, and we are asking for equity. I was before this body 22 years ago. I gave a presentation on the benefits of bicycling and trails and greenways because the RTM was considering the match for a state grant that would have built a trail from this valuable community facility here that we're sitting in to the COP property. Many of you probably consider it an underutilized community facility. Groton Utilities was a participant in that project. They were all on board. They had designed the pathway from Route 117, starting at the Stone Building, which they were proposing to develop with their own money into an environmental education center for Groton school children. And they had designed, they were ready to design the path from there to the COP property. All that we needed was the RTM to approve the 20% grant, the same thing that you all are considering tonight. And it was voted down. I couldn't believe it. And to this day, is there a trail there? No. Would there have been a trail there? Yes. So I'm here, I'm being very passionate about this because this is so important, because these decisions have generational ramifications. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Berry?
Hi, my name is Cindy Berry. I live at 175 Laurelwood Road. I'm also speaking not on behalf of the work that I do at Ledge Light Health District. I'm just speaking as a citizen tonight, so please take that in mind. I'm also in favor of the alternative transportation grant, and I hope that you will be too. I think it's a smart decision for Groton. I've lived here for 33 years, and in that time, I think I've probably bicycled every single road in in both the town and the city. My son rode his bike to ball practice and had to ride down the streets. I was always very nervous about that, and even still to this day, we like to take family rides around Groton, and it's a real popular area in town. We know that car crashes that involve bicyclists and pedestrians are up in the state. This was data that was released last year by UConn. And so I think that this would go a long way to improving safety in the community. It's something that you'll be able to measure in 5 years. You'll be able to see that motor vehicle accidents regarding pedestrians and bicyclists will go down. I also think that it takes us a little step closer to becoming a bike-friendly community. And with that designation will come money. So we'll be able to apply for other grants in the future that we now cannot apply for. The third thing I think is really cool is that you all just established a complete streets committee. and policy for the town of Groton, which means that these projects will be looked at through the lens of safety and health, which is really cool. A lot of towns don't have that. So this will give us an opportunity to put the Complete Streets Committee in play. And I think that it'll really be a good thing for Groton, so I hope you'll consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Mr. Uhas?
I texted him.
Okay. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak tonight?
Did you call his name?
Representative Surf, this isn't time yet. Hold on one second. Is Mr. Uhas in the room? Ron Uhas in the room? He is next door. He was supposed to come over.
Are you speaking to me?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm in favor of the.
Representative Surf, now is not the time, please. Hold on. Okay. Seeing not, are there any questions, direct questions for the people that, anything that wasn't clear? Representative Surf, do you have a question, a clarifying question?
No, I just wanted to say that I'm in
Okay,
favor.
but now is not the time for that?
I've got it.
Now, that's not, it's inappropriate right now. Thank you. Okay. We are on to receipt of communications. Does anybody have communications they'd like to share? Okay, I have a handful. You all should have gotten an email Tuesday the 9th, forwarded to you from Betsy, from Brian Sheffer, who spoke tonight, correct? Wrong.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you guys should have gotten that in support of the bike lanes. The subject is Depot Road, Thomas Road Bikeway Grant. And since he spoke tonight, I'm not going to read that, but you all have that in your emails. Another one from Jim Stewart, saying to all RTM members, this letter's in regards to Wednesday's RTM meeting in which a vote will take place for the Transportation Alternative Plan Grant. Sorry. I'm a member of the Groton Bike, I'm sorry, let me start over. I'm a member of Bike Groton and would like to send my support for the approval of this critical piece of legislation to improve bicycle safety in the area. I am also an avid cyclist and have traveled the route through Depot Road, South Road, and Thomas Road many times. I know firsthand how intimidating and dangerous this can be. Any improvement to these roads would greatly benefit bicycle safety when traveling this route. I strongly urge the RTM to approve this 20% needed to move forward with this plan. Thank you, Jim Stewart, 11 Overlook Avenue, Mystic, Connecticut, 06355. And you all should have received that. Another email dated Tuesday, May 9th, letter of support for bike project in Groton to the RTM through Betsy McCousher. I am J.R. Animus, resident of Groton, and also an avid cyclist member in the area and also an electric boat employee. I am writing to this letter to express my support for the proposed bike lane project in Groton. I firmly believe that this project will have a great benefit for many workers who use their bike as their mode of transportation. Having a designated bike lane will promote safety and awareness for drivers who passed by in our area. This proposed bike lanes will also enhance our community's interest into more health-focused leisure, which is cycling. Knowing that our town is in support with this when this will get approved. Sorry. I'm also a father of 2 children, which both of them starts to show an interest in biking. My wife is also in the health sector job, is starting to be an avid cyclist in the area. I strongly believe this proposed project will be a great positive addition to our community. All the best for our Groton community. Thank you. Allison Palmer sent an email on May 10th. Hi, Betsy. I'm writing a letter in support of the proposed bike lanes to be voted on in this evening's RTM meeting. Bicycle ridership has increased over 600% since the pandemic, and these bike lanes are critical for transportation, equity access, and crash prevention. Bike lanes create a frictionless system where all users have space to travel without challenges or conflict with other users. Both my husband and I would like for our support to be noted on behalf of Mystic Cycle Center, our bicycle shop. I'm also the Vice President of Bike Stonington. Thank you, Allison and Chris Palmer, Director of Operations, Mystic, and co-owner, Mystic Cycle Center. Lori Hendrickson wrote on May 10th, Bike Path Vote. Dear RTM members, my name is Lori Hendrickson. I'm a resident of Groton and a teacher at Grosso Technical High School. I would like to vote in favor of matching the cost in order to receive the grant to use for the bike path on Route 1 and down Depot Road. I believe the bike paths I believe that bike paths increase the well-being of a community, and this town could be hugely benefited by this project. Thank you, Lori Hendrickson. Dear RTM, Groton has the opportunity, it was from Rosemary Simmons. Dear RTM, Groton has the opportunity to build bike lanes along South Road from the airport to Route 1 and down Depot Road to Bluff Point. The town has been awarded a $1.1 million grant for this project. The town will be required to share a 20% match, which equals $234,000. The RTM controls spending and must approve the match. If they vote to turn down the match, the town will lose the grant. This project will make it much safer and encourage more people to ride and commute by bike in both the city and the town. Please support this grant with the 20% town match. Thank you, Rosemary Simmons, 68 William Street, Noank, Connecticut. Thank you. And Jay Fortner. I'm in support of funding the proposed bike lanes. These additions to our roads would encourage biking and hopefully provide a safer route for the bicyclists. While working at Pfizer, I spent many years bike commuting from my home in Mystic using this exact route for the proposed bike lanes. I thoroughly enjoyed my rides and the gas and pollution avoidance that came with them. All that ended on an early October morning when I was hit by a car while riding near the airport. I hope these new bike lanes will minimize the chance of that happening again. Respectfully submitted, J.H. Fortner, DVM, retired. Are there any other communications? Representative Surf, do you have communications that you want to share? Representative Gustafson, do you have communications to share? Oh, hold on, we can't hear you. Sean, can this be moved up? Or can this be turned up anyway? It's online. Representative Gustafson, can you just speak so that we can hear your voice? Barely.
Turn your volume.
Try again.
Can you try again, please?
Testing. Hello? Hello?
Okay.
It's a little better. If you could talk really loudly, I'm sorry to ask you to do that.
Okay, is this any better?
We're better. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I received 3 communications in support of the Mystic Noank Library funding and 1 email in support of the alternative transportation plan, the bike pathway.
Thank you. I'm just looking at my emails really quickly to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I think that is everything. I think that's everything. Okay. Next is a report of the town manager.
I will be sending out a written report later tonight.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just plugging my phone back in because it's seriously dying. Okay, committee reports. You're up. Chair Powers.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. As we did our special meeting It was our first thing on our discussion was, it was new business. It's 3.1, 2023-162-2, the Transportation Alternative Grant Plan. Representative Chase read the resolution to the committee and made a motion to accept the grant funding, seconded by Representative Scott. I'd like Representative Chase to read the whole entire alternative grant resolution into the record, please.
I make a resolution to accept the Transportation Alternative Plan grant funding and appropriate the required match from the Capital Improvement Program fund balance, whereas the town applied for and received a Transportation Alternative Plan grant in the amount of $936,000 to design and construct a bikeway from Depot Road to Thomas Road along Route 1 and South Road, and whereas the projected total project cost is $1,170,000, and whereas the grant requires a 20% match from the grant recipient, now therefore be it resolved that the town council and the representative town meeting authorizes the town manager, John Burt, to accept the Transportation Alternative Plan grant funding and appropriate the required match of $234,000 from the Capital Improvement Program fund balance.
Thank you, Representative Chase. In our discussion, Director Berry was present. He explained the history of the request and that the funding became available through the grant, the cost involved in developing the plan, the area of the bike route, the impact of connecting the community connectivity plan for our town and our city. This was a primary need requested by the community, as well as our plan of recreation needs and assessment plan. Chairman Powers called for a vote. 5 were in favor, 1 was opposed. Representative Gardner, 0 abstentions. The motion passed.
Okay. Do you have a motion for the floor?
Make a motion to accept the grant.
Second, Chase.
So the motion was made by Chair Powers, Chair Sean Powers, sorry, and seconded by Kathy Chase, Representative Kathy Chase.
I have a point of information.
Your
Could
point?
Could you just state who was opposed and then add that to the minutes?
I did. Representative Gardner was opposed.
Oh, it's not in the minutes, sorry.
Oh, it's right here. It is.
Okay. good.
Okay.
Right here.
Thanks.
5 in favor, 1 opposed. Representative Gardner.
Aye.
0 abstained.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding the grant? Any further discussion? Town manager, do you have anything you want to?
Not me, if there's any questions, Mark Berry can.
Oh, I think that was. Director Barry, do you want to come up in case there are any questions? Actually, Representative Gardner had a question first, and then Evan. Representative Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Mr. Berry, can I ask the reasoning why the proposed bike path is going from Depot Road to South Road to Thomas? What's the purpose of that? Why that particular route?
Sure, that route was originally identified in the 2004 Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan, which involved a considerable amount of public engagement, and there was an interest in creating what they designated as an east-west bikeway that would connect the town to the city. And it's taken us this long to get where we are now, and to have this opportunity to actually see that completed. Depot Road is part of a larger community connectivity project that we are currently working on. Right now, there's a bike path that goes down Route 1. We got funding a couple of years ago to put in a bike path from connecting at the intersection of Sutton Park and Route 1. It's going to actually go all the way out and connect to Midway Oval. And there will be signage along that street. So we're looking to create a network of bike paths and to improve community connectivity. And the 2020 Recreational Needs Assessment, one of the top priorities in the community was better connectivity. And this is exactly what this project does.
Thank you.
Director Barry, could you please introduce who's next to you?
Oh, I'm
Or
sorry.
ask him to
Yes, this
introduce
is Chris Faulkner from VHB Engineering. VHB worked with us on the original application in 2019, and I asked him to come this evening if there are any technical questions.
Faulkner, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Representative Eben.
Hey, thank you, Madam Moderator. I just first want to start out by thanking all the speakers that have come here tonight. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Very well.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Okay, great. I want to thank all the speakers for coming here tonight and testifying on this alternative transportation grant. I just want to say I'm in full support of this. This is going to produce a real community asset that's going to enhance property values in Groton. It's going to enhance the desirability to live in this community. It's going to increase the health of our citizens. It's going to increase the safety of people who are accessing the street to ride bikes or walk. It's going to decrease car use and therefore decrease greenhouse gases, which is a great way to mitigate climate change. So I really feel that the basket of pluses in this case far outweighs any drawbacks to this project, and I just want to voice my full support for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Massett.
Director Barry, my report may be even for the engineer. Is there a minimum requirement for the width of roads?
So for the width of the road, it depends on, a lot of factors. If you're talking about South Road, probably the minimum lane width is 10 feet.
Okay.
Preferably you'd like to have 11, but 10 feet is generally the minimum accepted width for a lane.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Cerf.
Yes, I would just simply like to echo what Representative Eben has said for all the excellent reasons that she gave. This is a wonderful project to have alternative ways. I used to love riding my bike in Groton, except I just thought it was so dangerous. So anything that we can do, I think, will really enhance the value of living here, because it's a great place to bike. We just have to be able to have good bikeways and be safe doing it. And I do think it will enhance the value of living in Groton enormously.
Thank you. Anyone else? Director Barry, I just want to say thank you for applying for this grant. I think it's wonderful always when people go out of their way to get money for Groton that doesn't have to come from the taxpayer. So thank you very much. Are we ready to vote? Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. If you could lower your hands, please. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Representative Gardner, Representative Bailey. Okay, if you could lower your hands. Anyone abstaining? Representative Merritt, sorry, I told you I'd do this all the time. Anyone else abstaining? Okay, then that passes 28 to 2 to 1. Thank you all so much for coming out for to voice your favor of this, being in favor of this. Okay, we are moving on. Liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports tonight? I do have one. Do you want to give it quickly? Yeah, Representative Bright, I have one from you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Yeah. The Citizen and Police Committee held a meeting on 8 May 2023 at the Groton Town Police Department. Meeting called to order at 5:05 p.m. Committee members present were Chair Dela Cruz, Parfit, Velez, and Groton Town Police Chief Asaro. Others present were Councilors Cassiri and Franco, Groton Town Manager Burt, Groton Town Deputy Police Chief Gately, and Lorena Clark. Let's see, approval of the 13 March 2023 meeting minutes were postponed till the next meeting. There were a couple of communications received by the committee. Member Parfait received a communication concerning the outreach programs, and Chief Fassaro received a communication from the Department of Justice about the award Officer McClellan will receive from the Department of Justice, which is pretty awesome. There was no old business. Under new business, the new Public Safety Community Outreach Specialist, Lorena Clark, gave a presentation which included her background and personal history, as well as the types of cases she handles, which are numerous. From 1 April 2022 through 31 December 2022, she handled 107 cases. She had some handouts, which included the call type, shift summary, date closed, and case details of the 107 cases that she actually handled. And in her breakdown, approximately 21 of the 107 cases were domestic in nature. She had a breakdown, the different types. And under other business open forum, a discussion was held on the two recent local facilities, which I'm sure everyone has read about them, and the reasons for most types of these facilities, the usual ones: speed, distracted driving, DUIs. And then traffic enforcement, Chief Fassaro said traffic enforcement by GTPD will be increased in the future to try and reduce the number of speeders, distracted drivers, and DUIs. And he also mentioned that the GTPD awards ceremony will be held on 12 May 2023 at 10:30 a.m. in the Town Hall Annex in Groton. And that's to present a bunch of awards to the Groton Town Police Department officers. And RSVP is requested by 11 May 2023 to J. Vislowski at groton-ct.gov. The next meeting will be on 11 September 2023, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:24 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, are there any other liaison reports? Seeing none. The next item on our agenda is budget discussions, but we're moving into the budget, so I think we're gonna probably hold off on that. Any other business from anyone? Seeing no hands, I will take a motion to adjourn the regular meeting. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Aye.